Welcome students, myself Rebecca Demonte, and today we are going to discuss chapter 4 of geography, that is air pressure module 2. In module 1, we learn what is air pressure, altitude of the region and air pressure, air temperature and air pressure, and horizontal distribution of air pressure. In this video, we will be learning what are temperature zones and pressure belts, equatorial low pressure belt, mid-latitudinal high pressure belts, subpolar low pressure belts, polar high pressure belts, effects of air pressure, and isobars. First, let us discuss what are temperature zones and pressure belts. As we all know that equator divides Earth into two equal halves. In figure 4.2a, we can see the different temperature zones. The nearest to the equator is torrid zone. Then comes temperate zone and the last is frigid zone. The temperature zone are equal for both the poles. In figure 4.2b, we can see pressure belts, which are influenced by the uneven distribution of temperature. The uneven distribution of temperature also leads to the formation of low and high pressure belts horizontally between the equator and the poles. There are 7 pressure belts: equatorial low pressure belt, mid-latitudinal high pressure belt, which are on both the side of the equator, then subpolar low pressure belt and polar high pressure belts. The extent of an air pressure belt is up to 10 degree parallel, which is narrower compared to the latitudinal extent of the temperature zones, which is much larger. For example, the temperate zone extends from 23 degree 30 minutes to 66 degree 30 minutes. Let us now discuss the following questions given in your textbook related to temperature zones and pressure belts. First is, which pressure belt is mainly found in the tropics? Tropic regions are near to the equator, and so the temperature in these regions are high. And as we know, when temperature is high, the air pressure is low. And so, equatorial low pressure belts are found in the tropics. Next, with which pressure belt are the polar winds associated? In which temperature zone are they observed? So, the polar winds are associated with polar high pressure belt and subpolar low pressure belt. It is observed in the frigid zone. What could be the reason behind a low pressure belt in the tropics? So as we discussed earlier, low pressure belt is formed in the tropics because the temperature is high. Next, with which pressure belts are the winds in the temperate zone associated? So the winds in the temperate zone are associated with mid-latitudinal high pressure belts. Next, write the latitudinal extent of the low pressure belts. The latitudinal extent of the low pressure belts goes from 5 degree north to 5 degree south and 55 degree to 65 degree north as well as south. Students, let us now discuss the different pressure belts. First is equatorial low pressure belt. This low pressure belt extends from 0 to 5 degree north and south of equator. Due to perpendicular rays between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, the temperature is higher in this region. Air in this region gets heated, expands, becomes lighter, and moves towards the sky. As this process operates continuously, a low pressure belt gets formed in the central part of this region. Mid-latitudinal high pressure belts. It extends from 25 degree to 35 degree north and 25 degree to 35 degree south of equator. The warm air which rises from the equator cools down, as a result of which temperature decreases. Due to low temperatures at the higher altitudes, the air becomes heavier. This leads to the formation of high pressure belts in both the hemispheres. This air is dry, hence the region does not get rainfall, and so most of the hot deserts on the earth are found in these regions. Subpolar low pressure belts. Warm ocean currents from tropical and subtropical areas carry lot of heat to these areas and develops high temperature and low pressure conditions. Due to rotation of the earth, winds get deflected in other directions, which leads to the development of low pressure belt. This condition is observed in the area between 55 degree and 65 degree parallels in both the hemispheres. Polar high pressure belts. In both the polar regions, the temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius throughout the year. So here the air is cold. As a result, high pressure belts get formed. These are called polar high pressure belts. They generally occupy the area between 80 degree and 90 degree parallels to both the hemispheres. Let us now discuss these pressure belts in detail. While understanding the basic concepts behind the development of pressure belts, we will not take into consideration the tilt of the axis and the influence of land-water distribution. As we know, equator divides the globe into southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. An equatorial belt extends up to 5 degree north and 5 degree south. Equatorial region receives vertical rays of the sun, and these heats up the air near the equator. When temperature increases, pressure decreases, and so along the equator we have low pressure, and we call this region as equatorial low pressure belt. The warm air starts rising up in the troposphere, and as the warm air is rising, the temperature drops. After rising up to a certain point, it stops rising upwards because it becomes cooler and it is stopped by tropopause. So the air spreads out. The air starts moving in the southern and northern direction As the air is moving, it becomes denser, and after a certain point, it sinks down to the surface. So at around 30 degrees north and south, we have sinking air. This sinking air is cool air, so it forms high pressure systems. These regions are called as subtropical high pressure belts because these regions lie outside the tropical regions and at the same time adjoining the tropical regions. Now the sinking air moves towards north and south, so along the equator the warm air rises, spreads and cools and sinks down. In this way, it develops convectional currents. At the poles, the sun rays are inclined, so we have cold air that sinks. These regions are known as polar highs. In the northern hemisphere, the air moves towards the south, and in the southern hemisphere, the air moves towards north. At this point, we have air coming from north and south. So at this point, the air converges and rises up. These regions are known as subpolar lows. So at 60-degree latitudes, we have low pressure system because we have rising air. Along the equator, the air is rising because of convection. And at subpolar lows, we have rising air because of conversion. This rising air also spreads out, cools and sinks. Same things happen in the southern hemisphere. On the surface of the earth, along the equator, the winds move from high pressure regions to low pressure regions. That is, from subtropical high to the equatorial low in the northern and southern hemisphere. These winds bend to the right in the northern hemisphere, and in the southern hemisphere the winds bend to the left. And this is described as Coriolis effect. The winds bend to the right and left in the northern and southern hemisphere respectively because the earth is spherical in shape and the earth rotates from west to east in the same way. In between 30 to 60 degree north and south, the winds bends towards right and left in the northern and southern hemisphere respectively. Even at the polar region, same phenomena can be seen. Next is the effects of air pressure. Air pressure is one of the important characteristics of the Earth's atmosphere, which regulates the wind and weather pattern across the world. The pressure and gravity have very close affinity because atmospheric pressure depends upon several factors such as height, gravity, and absolute temperature. After discussing what is air pressure, the relation between temperature and air pressure, and after studying the pressure belts, we can say that the atmospheric pressure is an indicator of weather. The movement of wind is caused by air trying to balance the difference between high and low pressure areas by moving from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. It carries moisture and heat horizontally. Because of Earth's rotation, wind blowing north or south will deflect to the right. It gives twirl effect to the air, causing storm, hurricanes and tornadoes. Let us look into the effects one by one. First is origin of winds. Wind is the flow of gases on a large scale. On the surface of the earth, wind consists of the bulk movement of air. The wind is caused by differences in the atmospheric pressure. When a difference in atmospheric pressure exists, air moves from the higher to the lower pressure area, resulting in winds of various speeds. Globally, the two major driving factors of large-scale wind patterns are the differential heating between the equator and the poles and the rotation of the planet. Next is generation of storms. A storm is any disturbed state of a body, especially affecting its surface, and strongly implying a wind force. A storm can cause significant disruptions and lightning, heavy precipitation, heavy freezing air, strong winds, or wind transporting some substance through the atmosphere, as in a dust storm or a sandstorm, etc. Storms are created when a center of low pressure develops with a system of high pressure surrounding it. This combination of opposing forces can create winds and result in the formation of storm clouds. Next is convectional type of rain. Convectional rainfall occurs when the energy of the sun hits the surface of the earth, causing water to evaporate to form water vapor. When the land heats up, it warms the air above it. This causes the air to expand and rise. As the air rises, it cools and condenses. This process of condensation forms clouds high in the atmosphere. If this process continues, rainfall will occur. Convectional rainfall is very common in areas where the ground is heated by the hot sun, such as the tropics. Next is air pressure affects the breathing activity too. Now here, for lungs to inflate, the air pressure in our lungs has to be less than the air outside the lungs. This is because air moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. This is why at high altitudes the air pressure is lower, making it harder for you to breathe. Isobars. Isobars are lines on a weather map joining together places of equal atmospheric pressure. These are basically used to explain and understand various weather phenomena. The weather is chiefly determined by the movement of the wind. The wind's direction is ultimately dependent upon the atmospheric pressure. The numbers measure the atmospheric pressure in millibars. The closer the isobars are together, the windier it is. If the lowest number is in the middle circle, there is a low pressure or depression. If the highest number is in the middle circle, there is a high pressure or anticyclone. Let us now take a look at figure 4.3 from your textbook and discuss some points given below. First is the nature of isobars. As you can see in the figure, the isobars are mostly moving from west to east. Second, high and low pressure belts and their latitudinal position. So first is equatorial low pressure belt, and it is located on the equator. Then is subpolar low pressure belt, and it lies in the subpolar zone. Next is mid latitudinal high pressure belt, and it lies near equator, and polar high pressure belt, and it lies near the subpolar zone. Then the direction of the isobars and the distance between successive isobars over oceans and continents. Mostly over the oceans, the isobars are parallel, and over the continents, they are somewhat uneven. Comparison of the isobars in the northern and southern hemispheres. In the northern hemisphere, the isobars are far spaced and uneven, whereas in the southern hemispheres, it is closely spaced and parallel. Let us now have a quick recap of what we learned today. Firstly, we saw what are temperature zones and pressure belts. There are different temperature zones like torrid zone, temperate zone, and frigid zone. We also learned that there are 7 types of pressure belts. First is equatorial low pressure belt. This low pressure belt extends from 0 to 5 degree north and south of equator. Due to direct sun rays, the temperature in this region is higher. So air in this region gets heated, expands, becomes lighter and moves towards the sky. As this process continues, a low pressure belt gets formed in the central part of this region. Next we discussed mid-latitudinal high pressure belts. These belts extend from 25 degree to 35 degree north and 25 degree to 35 degree south of equator. The warm air which rises from the equator cools down, as a result of which temperature decreases. Due to low temperatures, the air becomes heavier. This leads to the formation of high pressure belts in both the hemispheres. Next we saw subpolar low pressure belts. Due to rotation of the earth, winds get deflected in other directions, which leads to the development of low pressure belt. This condition is observed in the area between 55 degree and 65 degree parallels in both the hemispheres. Lastly, we discussed is polar high pressure belts. In the polar regions, the temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius throughout the year. So here the air is cold. As a result, high pressure belts gets formed. These are called polar high pressure belts. They generally occupy the area between 80 degree and 90 degree parallel to both the hemispheres. Next we learn different effects of air pressure, which are origin of winds, generation of storms, convectional type of rain, and air pressure affects the breathing activity too. Lastly, we saw what are isobars. Isobars are lines on a weather map joining together places of equal atmospheric pressure. Also, the numbers measure the atmospheric pressure in millibars. With this, we have completed chapter 4, that is air pressure. Thank you students. Hope you all enjoyed the video.